Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, across all nations, races, and denominations, what is up? The King of Lightning is here today, bringing you guys and gals Bleach! Taite Kubo's finest work, chapter 655 and 56 review. So I'm going to start with the first chapter, chapter 655, because this chapter is relatively simple from a structure standpoint. The pacing is I wouldn't say it's fast. It's not fast, but it's simple, right? The overall structure is simple. We get a little bit of Byakuya being savage, and then it's basically after that, it's Garad going ham. And that's really it. And seeing what his powers are. And that's very simple. So pacing-wise, it's okay. When it comes from an overall story progression standpoint, it's basically finding out what Garad's powers are. That's it. Nothing big. Characterization-wise, there is some for Byakuya because he is savage. He is very savage. Or savage, but thorough, and at the same time, it is wise. It is wise to make sure that your opponent is dead, truly. So, we get characterization for Byakuya. Hirako sweating a little bit because he was kind of thrown off. Like, the first time, when he cuts off Garad's head, okay, he understands that. When he desecrates the man's body, then it's like, ooh. So, getting a little bit more for Hirako, and that was, I think, more towards the comedic side, because you can see him sweat. Like, you can see him sweat. He has that smile on his face, like, yeah, nice double tap, yeah. And so, that was more on the comedic side. And you have Hinamori, who was just like, oh my god, and that was really it. So nothing to say there. So characterization-wise, more so for Byakuya. And I guess if you want to throw under Garad's powers under his characterization, you can do that as well. So overall, very simple chapter from a structure standpoint, from a story standpoint, from a pacing standpoint. It's a simple chapter. But the problem is that the chapter's underwhelming as shit. It really is. Garad's powers, I'm like, Like, I was hoping in the next chapter, we would have found out a little bit more about Garad's powers, as opposed to him being the heart of the Soul King, according to Naklevar. But there is a key difference, I think, between him and Yami at this point in time. And there could be a key difference later on. The key difference now is Garad was able to, like, reform his body. I don't know how he did it exactly, but he had his head cut off. Byakuya decimated his torso and then some. And he's still able to come back. So it's like, okay, your head was cut off. As far as we know, everything above your waist was gone. And you still are able to reform with just legs. So, Yami, I know, could regenerate, like, certain parts of his body to an extent when he got angry. But at the same time, I don't think, like, if Yami got his head cut off in, like, his second form, could he transform into, like, his third form? Like, that big ape form? Like, I don't think so, because his head will be gone. So, that, I think, is important to note, that when it comes to the regen, it looks like Garad has Yami beat on that regards. And on top of that, it's the possibility that Garad, if he takes more and more damage, he can continue to become bigger and bigger and bigger. Possibly. We don't know. It's very possible. But if he has no cap on his size, if there's no final form, if you would say, for Garad, then he could easily surpass Yami. But right now, it's like when you have something like a miracle, I'm thinking like the heavens open up. You have like Jesus, you have like Buddha, throwing Muhammad, they're riding like horses and shit. They're galloping across the skies, and they're gonna save Valkyrie. Like, they're gonna do something, you know? Like, I was hoping for like a genuine miracle. There was no genuine miracle. It was just freaking get big. Like what? Like, no, like, that's... No, it's very underwhelming. And I'm surprised that Byakuya, especially him, because he's dealt with this before. And again, the fight's just started. But it looks like they're having a hard time against Big Man. I'm like, what the fuck? What? And I understand that, you know, power and defense, they would scale up. But Rukia has absolute zero temperatures. I mean, they can still break out of it because you still retain energy in absolute zero. So that's why Asnod could break out of that shit. Garad should be able to do that easily, since he is the Soul King's heart. Maybe he's undying through that sense. Like, even more so than the rest of them. Like, he's truly, truly undying. But regardless of that, she has the ability to freeze him and encase him in trap and that kind of shit. Byakuya, he has better control of his Bankai. And he's Zanpakuto overall. And he can, you know, create millions of blades. So it's like, bro, like this should be, like, this shouldn't be hard. You see what I'm saying? Like, it shouldn't be hard. Hirako Shinji can manipulate the senses, but maybe he's not affected by the senses. Maybe Garad is not affected by that, because if he's getting bigger, then his brain's bigger. Therefore, it takes too much time for the effects of Hirako's Zanpakuto to reach certain parts of Garad's brain. I don't know, but see, like, what I'm trying to do right now, I'm trying to justify this lame shit because it's lame. All right, I'm trying to find some way to make it better, and right now it's very underwhelming, which really sucks because I was looking forward to Garad. You guys know, you guys can go back to the previous reviews. I told you guys time and time again, I'm looking forward to Garad. Garad's a cool character. I'm pretty sure he's gonna be way better than Baro when it comes to, you know, his battle. And right now, I'm like, oh shit. You know, I may have to take that back. And I really don't want to. So let me just, for now, all I can say is that it's lame. All right, it's lame. It's underwhelming. But I can hope for the future. And that's what I'm gonna say for now. So chapter 655, I'm gonna say overall, it's a subpar plus to okay. You know, like it's yeah, like we're talking about a 5.5 out of 10. Like it's not fully subpar, but it's yeah. I mean, you know what? I guess I can give it an okay. Yeah, because Byakuya, he did kind of surprise me too. He did kind of surprise me. Yeah, you know, fuck it. We'll give it an okay, all right? Like, because I'm trying to give Bleach some leeway here. So we'll say okay. And then we'll move on from there. So the next chapter, chapter 656. This one also had a fairly underwhelming moment. And that was Ichigo. The main character... Like, I'm trying to think of the last time a main character was defeated off screen. Like, straight. Yo, my God. Ichigo. Ichigo was defeated off screen, flat out. And Naklevar is just chilling. Like, he's talking about Garad. He's talking about Perninda. He's talking about the Weedem, alright? Yuha's boys. And Ichigo has his face on the ground, on the dirt. So maybe the reason why Grimmjow hasn't come back yet is because the same thing is happening to Grimmjow right now. Therefore, I can assume that when it comes to this poison pool, Naklevar, after eating his cafe au lait, he can control them remotely. Or they're just there. Like, they're there for a certain period of time. How much time, I have no idea. But I guess the only way to make them disappear would be to have Naklevar himself reverse them, or he dies. Or he consumes something else. Like, he consumes his blood, or he consumes something else, to where now the lethal dosage is no longer Ryatsu, but it's that other substance that he consumed. But the fact of the matter is that Ichigo, the main character, just stop! No! Chad, please don't run in there! Ah, shit, you fucking suck, Chad! Like, which he does. But I'm just surprised. I'm like, Ichigo, like, damn, dude. Because we're all waiting for the new shit from Ichigo. meaning the same old shit. Fucking Getsuga. Denja! Getsuga! Denja! Getsuga! Ninisha! Junisha! Like, it's the same shit with this guy. Alright? It's always Getsuga something. But, I do want to see that Bankai. I can't deny it. I do want to see that Bankai. I do want to see what Ichigo has to deliver when it comes from a combat standpoint. And Ichigo, he did show off some against, Miss Candace Catnip. Yeah. Woo-wee! I was a fan of Miss Catnip. Them old legs, yeah. But, she's gone right now. Gone. Gone. And I gotta say, that kind of shocks me because Naklevar, he's becoming, as far as we know, like he's special enough to be a part of We Dem, but he's not like ultra special. He wasn't given the first powers by Yuha, according to Lily, and so like that's Lily. Then you have the parts of the Soul King. You have Gerard, you have Perninda, who had their powers way before Yuha even gave the powers to Baro. They were already established. So I kind of have to wonder, like, so Naklevar, like, how do you, like what? Like, what's going there exactly? Like, how special are you comparative to the other three? So that fascinates me. And he's far more meticulous when it comes to the way he fights. He fights very similar to Mairi in a lot of regards. He really does. That would have been a good fight between Mairi and Naklevar, like way back when, like at the beginning of this arc. That would have been a fantastic fight. Because both these guys are very meticulous. Right? They're cunning too. And I could say, I mean, he's not a scientist, but the guy's smart. And that would have been a good fight. But overall, that's just, that's the past. That's not happening. But when you have someone like Yoruichi come behind him, and then I've said it before, and I'll say it again like a billion times over. The strongest character in Bleach will have eyes on the back of their head. Guarantee. Guarantee. Every fucking time an enemy tries to attack someone, it's always from the back. It's always from the... I can't tell you how many times Kiraku appeared behind Baro in his back. I'm like, dog, do you want to fuck him or not? Like, why do you keep on appearing? Why do you keep on showing up at the man's rear? What the frick, man? Like, Jesus. Like, it's constant with Kubo. He loves the behind-the-back sneak attacks. He loves this shit. Alright? Like, he has a fetish for it. Like, oh yeah, I'm going to have him attack, not from the side, from the front, but from the back. Oh yeah. Yeah, I like being behind my enemies. Yeah, if you get what I mean. Yeah, like, it's like, dude, the Coobs. Like, what the fuck, man? Seriously, control yourself. Alright, but that being said, Yoruichi, she is actually, I can't say it's like really impressive because all he did was fire arrows against her. He kicked, she missed, fired arrows, he missed, she grabbed one of the arrows, threw it at his shoulder, that was it. But the follow-up, when she does the Shunko and she has the Raijin effects going on with the pseudo drums and shit, that was cool. That was cool. So you have the wind version of the Shunko, which is Soifon, and now you have like the lightning-esque version of the Shunko, which is Yoruichi. And Yoruichi, I'm like, you know what, like, Yoruichi, oh yeah, like she's up there. Oh, like when it comes to females in anime manga, she's up there now. All right, straight up. Like I'm a huge fan of her now. Right? Like she's rocking some very cool shit, and she's able to attack Naklevar in an outstanding fashion. So all I gotta say is the chapter had a lot more going for it compared to the previous chapter. A lot more. You had the reveal of Gerard being the heart. You had it being talked about by Naklevar that Perninda and Gerard, they had their powers from Jump Street. They didn't have it given to them by Yuha. So it looks like Yuha played no role in the left arm of the Soul King joining him. That's fascinating. Because I always figured that Yuha somehow manipulated Perninda to joining him, to being like on his team. But apparently not. Or maybe there was to a certain degree. But at least the powers that he had, he always had them. So what does that mean now? Now that we have the left arm defeated, the Soul King, is he going to regain the powers of the left arm? What about the heart? If Gerard is defeated, does the Soul King get his heart back? Like, what happens there? Because I do know that Yuha has that power to where he can take in the powers of those that were defeated. So does that mean that Yuha right now has attained the power of Perninda because he was defeated by Mairi? And on top of that, when Gerard is defeated, he's gonna attain the power of Gerard as well. So he will attain both the left arm and the heart as well of the Soul King. I'm not too sure, but it is food for thought. And I think that does establish not only the relevance of Yuha, but also the Soul King in the future of the story. Meaning the fact that, the heart is Gerard, who is on the Quincy side, and Perninda, whose left arm, who's also on the Quincy side. And not only he does point that out. The fact that these two, they're on the Quincy team, but yet they are limbs and the essence or the heart of the Soul King, who is the ultimate enemy against the Quincy. So that's kind of strange, and I hope that Kubo at some point does flesh that out. So overall, this chapter I think was a lot better. I'm going to say it was a good chapter of Bleach, and I'll leave it at that. So King Lightning, rate the video, comment, and subscribe as always, and I will see you guys and gals there. Have a nice and I'll see you guys and gals later. Have a nice goddamn day.